Have you ever stopped to think about how our entire life, the very person we become, can spring from something as small as a single thought? It's a huge idea, right? How do we get from just one simple thought all the way to living our ideal life? Well, let's dive in and find out. So, to get started, let me ask you something. Think about all the different cultures, all the beliefs out there. What do you think is considered the most sacred thing in the whole world?
The answer is actually pretty simple, but it's also incredibly profound. It's the water of the Ganges River. It's held in just the highest esteem for its sanctity.
Okay, but why? What makes this water so revered? It's not just about the water itself. The real secret lies right at its very beginning. It all comes down to this core concept, purity of origin. See, the sacredness of the Ganges isn't something it picks up along the way. Nope. It's considered sacred because its source, the very point where it begins, is seen as absolutely pure, completely untainted.
And this points to a really fundamental truth, doesn't it? A pure beginning is absolutely essential. The quality of the start almost always determines the quality of the entire journey that follows. And this right here is where we connect it all back to our own lives. Just like the river's entire journey depends on that pure, untainted source, our life's journey begins with the quality of our thoughts. That single thought, that's our personal point of origin.
So, how does this process actually unfold? Well, we can think of it as the cascade effect. It's this powerful chain reaction that shows how our inner world literally builds our outer reality one logical step at a time.
This chart lays out the whole path for us. It all starts with pure, positive thoughts. These thoughts then start to manifest as your words. Those words, in turn, lead to your actions. And over time, those actions begin to shape your fundamental nature. Then, that nature solidifies into your daily habits. And finally, those habits forge your character. See? It's a really clear, logical flow from just one thought to who you ultimately become.
Let's break that down, starting with step 1. It really does all begin with your thoughts. Think of them as the raw material, the seeds from which everything else is going to grow. What you think on the inside directly shapes what you end up saying out loud. And our words, they're so much more than just sounds. They're like little declarations, little commitments we make. They create a bridge between our inner thoughts and our outer actions, and they really compel us to follow through. Now, as you consistently perform certain actions, something really fascinating starts to happen. They begin to carve these little pathways in your personality. These repeated actions start to build your fundamental disposition, or what's known in Sanskrit as swabhava, your deep, intrinsic nature.
And once that nature is ingrained, it just becomes automatic. Your temperament starts to crystallize into the habits you live by every single day, often without even thinking twice about them.
And this, of course, brings us to the final step in this whole cascade. The sum total of your habits, all these automatic ways you have of being and acting, that forges the very essence of who you are. This is exactly how your ultimate character gets created. So, after all this internal work, what's the grand result? Where does this journey, which started with just one single thought, ultimately lead us? Well, the outcome is probably more impactful than you might think.
This is the destination. A character built on a foundation of purity and integrity doesn't just serve you, it becomes a positive force in the world, an inspiration. It can become an ideal for everyone around you. Your internal work has this incredible external effect.
But it's so important to remember this. The whole journey, from that one simple thought all the way to becoming an ideal character, is only successful if the starting point, the thoughts themselves, are pure and constructive. The whole structure rests on that one single foundation.
So, when you boil it all down, it comes to 3 simple but really powerful commitments. First, nurture positive thoughts. From there, speak constructive words. And as a natural result, perform good, virtuous actions.
And this brings us to a final piece of wisdom, a really clear instruction for how to navigate our lives. Just keep your thoughts auspicious, keep them wholesome, keep them pure. And what happens when you do that? When you really guard that source and make sure your thoughts are of the highest quality? The result is this state of just profound inner peace and happiness. It's a feeling of deep contentment and joy, which is often expressed with the beautiful phrase Radhe Radhe, signifying a state of divine love and bliss. Thanks for joining me on this one.